Welcome back to Patman Garage. So we got the Silverado back again. It's got a little bit of an oil consumption and a little bit of a smoke on startup. So I went ahead and removed the Y pipe, and we'll do a startup and see if the smoke is contained to left or right side, and then we'll make a decision about what we want to do after that. All right, here we go. Well, that was really loud. I had thought through of taking a big deep breath before I started the truck, but didn't really think about hearing protection when I'm laying on the ground underneath the truck, running open headers. But anyways, it looks like the smoke is more on the driver's side than the passenger side, so we at least have a direction to go with this thing. And like I said, my suspicion is valve seals. Those were replaced, but just because it's new does not mean it's a guaranteed a good part. My other thought was maybe there's something going on with the PCV valve system, since we have a new intake and an old PCV system kind of cobbled together here. But that would affect both sides, I would think. So it seems to be that the smoke is more contained on the driver's side. So said we can at least focus our direction that way. All right, so the next thing I would like to do is pull my spark plugs off this side, and we can see if there's a particular cylinder that is having more issues more than the other, but it'll give us good reading on what the health of the engine looks like. So we'll pull the 4 spark plugs out of the driver's side and see if we see one cylinder that's having more problem than the other, and then we'll know which valve seals we need to address if that's the case. Alright, so I got the valve cover popped off of this side, and we'll compare it to the new one before we put it back on and make sure that everything looks like it's going to line up correctly. Since this is a newer valve cover than what's supposed to be on this truck, but like I said, we'll take a quick comparison here and see how everything looks. So here's the part number that I ordered. It's a 12570-427. That is the newer part of the updated valve cover design. So this is like a windage tray that helps drain oil out of the PCV system. And you can see we've got holes, multiple holes here. The next updated design had a single hole towards the rear of the valve cover, towards the PCV. And then the updated design moved it to the front, and the updated design has everything draining to the front. So if we have oil mixing in our vapors, it's got to travel all the way across to the PCV valve. So it's got a lot of time for that oil to settle out and drain back out. So hopefully this will prevent excess oil to getting into the PCV valve to begin with. And then being a new valve, we should also be sealing better as well. So we'll get this guy swapped over after we look at our top side, make sure everything looks like it's going to line up correctly, and everything looks good on that. We got our same 4 bolt holes, and then our coil pack bolted in top, middle, lower middle, middle, and front. So we should be good on bolting it in. And then we'll just have to figure out what rubber hose we need to go from here to the top of the intake. All right, so I got the coil rack installed, got my plugs thrown back in it. I got my coil or spark plug wires plugged back in it. Everything's good to go on this, and I found some flexible rubber hose that was left over from another project, maybe even this one from the some part of the transcooler maybe, but it is 23/64 on the inside diameter, and that's going to match the outside diameter on the PCV connection back there, and then we should be able to slide this onto our rubber hose or plastic hose that goes into the top of the intake. So I'll get this guy connected here. It's just going to slide on in place, and we should be just about ready to start this truck once I put the throttle back on. Alright, so initially on startup it had absolutely zero smoke. Once it started warming up a little bit, I did get a little bit of smoke, but overall not very bad at all. I still have the Y pipe off the truck, so there's still, you know, quite a bit of open exhaust loudness going on, but we'll get this thing reinstalled on the Y pipe, and we'll go drive this thing around for a little while and see if she does anything differently on the next cold startup. So we'll keep plugging away at this thing, and we'll see how she does. All right, so she sat up overnight, and we'll see what she does on the first startup here. Cold morning, 70 or 67 degrees. We'll see what she does. I can live with that. That was nice. There's no smoke at all. So I'm gonna go run it around the block, take y'all for a ride, and we can do one more cold start before it goes home. Being that this truck is lifted and on 35s, I'm pretty happy with that performance, and that was not even wide open throttle. It was about probably about mid throttle, maybe 3/4 throttle, something like that. We're still working on getting the tuning sorting out on the transmission shifts, upshifts. They seem a little bit early, but like I said, she feels pretty stout for what we did using a junkyard motor and some decent quality parts here, but other than the questionable junkyard motor. But like I said, I'm pretty happy with the build overall. So we'll get this thing back to the house, and we'll let her cool down, and we'll do at least one more cold startup on it, maybe two more, depending on how my own schedule goes this week, and be ready to send her on home.